Okay, so welcome to this latest edition of ABN Cast, which, as ever, I'm delighted to say is being sponsored by Amadeus. Today, we're going to focus on airlines and digitisation. Today, we're joined by Hayley Bonnick, who's the Global Head of Marketing at Remarkable Group. Welcome,
Hi.
Hayley.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
No problems. So today, we're going to talk about this report that you've recently launched, the Digital Maturity Report, looking at the world's 50 biggest airlines and what they're doing online, particularly around retail and marketing and e-commerce. So just introduce, firstly, the Remarkable Group. People may not know what the Remarkable Group is, and also this report and what you've been doing.
Okay, so Remarkable Group is a collection of digital specialists, and each of the organisations that falls under Remarkable Groups specialises in different technologies, and they all fall kind of within the remit of digital transformation, digital strategy, and web development. So
you help clients on their sort of journey of digital transformation, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we help them make money, basically, and become visible and create exceptional online experiences.
And not just in travel and tourism and aviation, in all sorts of areas.
No, we don't like to limit ourselves.
You're not sector specific.
No.
Tell us about this report. So this is one focusing on the airline industry, but I believe you do them in other sectors. So this is a well-versed thing that you do. You've been doing them for a while, yeah?
Yeah, so I've done studies like this for, I don't like to say how long, but quite a few years now. And interestingly, we see really similar things across a lot of the sectors, even when you're comparing the likes of like airlines versus law, industry, automotive. There's a few things that we always find similar, which has kind of helped us really fine tune what we actually benchmark people against.
Yeah. So why have you chosen to do airlines this time? Is this a regular thing?
I think airlines is particularly interesting because there's two reasons really. One, post-pandemic, there's a lot of things that need to happen, and there's a lot of recovery that needs to happen for the travel industry as well as obviously airlines specifically. Secondly, it's an industry that is very highly reliant on its digital performance. Whether you're planning something, you're booking something, you want to manage, a lot of people just expect a seamless online experience now. Yeah. So that seems worth us kind of putting them all to the test. Yeah.
And a bit about the how you compile the report. It was done over a number of months. These things take a long time, but give us a bit of insight into what you had to do to get the data back out of the industry.
So the whole campaign does take a few months to create. But the actual testing, I think I have got specific dates, but I think it works out about a month where we do all of the testing. For this one, we've tested across 11 pieces of digital, 11 aspects, should I say. And then we have included additional aspects that we don't necessarily measure on, but we reference them. So like website platform, for example, brand search and things like that. Why we choose things like search, paid media, social, is because that's what it's all interlinked, isn't it? If you think about any kind of online experience, any way that we interact with anything, whether it's booking a flight or ordering a takeaway, you might see an advert, you Google it, or you find them on social media, you expect an alert to come through for your email. It's all a seamless experience. Yeah.
So like you said, there's 11 different factors. People who want to delve into this can look at the report.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of data being put into this, but you spent all this time, say for instance, signing up to newsletters and so on from airlines to find out what the actual outcome is. That's really what you did.
The team had a really enjoyable experience of going through the user journey for all of the 50 airline sites that we tested, and we have a set criteria with a whole methodology that's available to anybody who wants to see it, or I'm happy to take questions, obviously. But we have to have it as a set criteria in our rationale so that we kind of make it fair. Like, we take screenshots of absolutely everything, because a lot of the time when we've done this previously, the results will come out and then companies will say, well, our website was changing that week or whatever, which is fine. We're happy to test it again if they're interested in where they would benchmark, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's for a set period of time.
It's a genuine experience. Although we weren't doing it as a genuine customer, you were acting as a customer. So it's a genuine what happened on that day, on that day. Yeah. So like I said, you looked at the world's 50 biggest airlines. Just give us a broad overview of how what you found, really, especially with your knowledge of other sectors. What was your sense of the airline sector in terms of its digital maturity?
Okay, so one thing that I just wanted to mention on that is they are the largest or most popular in the world, but we actually chose these 50 based on an already published list, which was from World Airline, I think at worldairlineawards.com, which is based on customer satisfaction. So there is a bit of a string of the narrative throughout that, which kind of aligns to the customer satisfaction and digital maturity.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really stood out was that the companies that were the most, I think it's like the top 5 or 8, something like that, referenced in the report, but the most digitally mature airlines are also the ones that are ranked with the highest customer satisfaction.
Okay, so there's a positive correlation between those two things, which is logical.
Make good customer experiences, customers are happy.
Yeah, and customers want digital experiences, therefore if you're doing this work, you're doing well, you're doing a good job for them.
Well, there's nothing more frustrating, is there? If you're getting ready for, I don't know, whether it's a work trip, a holiday, whatever it is, and you're trying to plan it and the site doesn't load.
Yeah.
People are I'm impatient, so I don't see why any other airline customer would be any different. Like I think the Google average, or what they recommend, is for sites to load within 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Audiences are impatient.
And like you said maybe at the beginning, you'd expect the aviation sector or the airline sector, due to its reliance on technology, to be quite advanced in this.
Yeah.
Did you find that, or do you think actually aviation's got some catching up to do?
I found it like it was a mixed bag, if I'm completely honest. So like with the website effectiveness, we test across, I think it's 4 different criteria. Some of that's accessibility, some of it's multilingual accessibility, other parts of it are speed, and we did have some really bad ones, if I'm honest. I think it was like 40 seconds or something. No, it was 20 seconds.
There's a great little stat. Some sites or pages loaded slower than it takes to have the emergency chutes disarmed in an airline. So
it's I think that if airlines treated their aircrafts in the way that they did their websites, people would probably question if they flew with them.
Okay. Worrying, yeah. But hopefully they
but
do.
some of them are also really good. You know.
Yeah. Well, I've been looking at the top 50. So you've ranked them in order from 1 to 50, and trying to work out if there's some sort of pattern here about which airlines you might expect to be doing well on this, whether it's a geographical thing where they're based, or whether they're a legacy airline versus more of a sort of low cost or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There is a real pattern here. I think you've got Middle Eastern and Far Eastern airlines sort of dominating the top 3 or 4, and then you get a few North American and then some Europeans. But I don't know if there's a real pattern here. What did you discern any kind of pattern?
I didn't think there was a massive pattern, if I'm completely honest. I think that Singapore Airlines and Qatar and Emirates really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Singapore Airlines were the only ones to get full marks in the search category, which is great. They're visible. But it was really mixed bag. You'd have some that had clearly considered social media, for example, but they'd completely neglected remarketing or email. I expected Virgin to do better than they did, just purely because it's a big name.
Yeah.
But I think some of the smaller ones, where they weren't loading, or if they were only targeting perhaps the Australian region, or for example, they could quite easily argue that with our criteria they wouldn't need to be available in so many territories. Difficult sometimes to apply global factors to different airlines doing different things, and we accept that. And I think that one of the kind of key takeaways that I kind of want to put out there for these reports, that we get a lot of the feedback obviously from people when we do it, is that it's not a criticism. It's more, we've done this research. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like. Is it helpful? Is it not?
Yeah.
And it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah. And obviously the airlines, talking Virgin, I just saw their 31st on the list. So in the bottom half. what you're saying to the airlines as well, if they're interested, is that you've got more information, more detailed information for each of them, were they to want to get that off you, so that they can really delve into why they've got issues.
Absolutely. So any airline that's featured in the report can just get in contact, and we have all of their results. Obviously, we don't want to put absolutely everything in the report because I think that might upset maybe some people. But
it'd be a very long report as well.
It'd be a it'd be a series, wouldn't it? but yeah, equally, anyone who's an airline that isn't in the report but they'd like to know where they would benchmark, we can run the same tests.
Okay, yeah, you know? And you offer that. That's a free service. You're not.
Just get in touch. Yeah. Okay,
so let's delve a little bit into more. We won't go into all the detail because there's a lot in here. But I thought one of the themes of overall of the report probably is in the conclusions at the end. Is any issues that airlines are having in terms of their digital maturity or their website performance doesn't appear to be because they're not investing in technology. They seem to be on, and I think you referenced they're on. Platforms like Adobe and Sitecore, which are very, very high functioning, and Salesforce, very, very high functioning, not cheap actually as well to invest in and to use, but they don't appear to be making the most of those platforms. And so is it an adoption issue? What do you think? If you could see inside an airline, what do you think is going on here?
I think that with airlines, there's, like you said, it's very clear from our study as well that this industry, they know digital is important. So it's not the lack of neglecting it completely. I think it's an implementation issue. So what we found was, I think there was only one company that had visual personalization.
Okay,
which is,
explain that.
Visual personalization. So let's say I land on a website and I'm looking specifically at going to Madrid. Right, so all of the things that I'm looking about is Madrid, but I'm not going to make a decision because most people, I think there's a stat in there, it's like 38 website visits that will be considered before you even make a interaction. So I'm looking at Madrid, I go off, and I come back the next day. Now, what they should be doing is that first page I land on when I come back should be tailored to Madrid. I should be seeing all of the things that would be flight offers, some location sightseeing things that I could be doing. And only one company was doing that.
That dovetails a bit. One of the other factors is remarketing, isn't it? So which is, I think you have some quite astonishing stats about how effective remarketing is, and yet maybe not done enough.
Remarketing is kind of slightly separate it's still digital marketing, but in terms of what you're mentioning about the investment in digital, if you're investing in something like Sitecore or Adobe, any kind of top tier platform, why are you not using personalization? It's one of the key features.
It's offered by them anyway.
It's like, it's such an important feature, and people will convert, customers will convert if you personalize their experience. They want it. You've got the tools, so just partner up with somebody that will help you do it, or do some research and get your in-house team to be able to run that.
So what do you think is going on here? Do you think that the brands, the airlines, the companies have understood the need to do this? They get the importance of digital transformation, but it's not been sufficiently widely adopted within the company. You hear a lot, if you hear people talk about digital transformation, they always talk about the adoption, bringing people along with you. It can't just be siloed in the tech department or C-suite level. Do you think that's what's possibly going on here? Is that an intention to do it? It's just not bringing everyone along on the ride?
It could be. I'm purely speculating here, but I think that one of the challenges that big organizations will have is they will have lots of different key stakeholders that make decisions, and if you've got a web development or an engineering side of things that are really bought into one way of doing things, and you've got marketing that want to go down another route, sometimes those relationships can actually prevent anything from happening, or you can't get the sign off to get the advancements digitally that you need to do. So it could be a case of that. I think that the fact that the technology is there and there's signs of digital maturity across this sector to me says there has to be something going on internally, whether that's a kind of a people problem where they're having those kind of discussions, or it could just be a lack of knowledge.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned who's top. We should give raps to the companies that came out top. So Qatar Airways, they came out first, and you give everyone a score. So their score is a percentage. So it's essentially out of 100. 76.92, and Singapore Airlines was next, 75. ANA or Nippon, Air Canada, United Airlines, Lufthansa, Iberia, Cathay Pacific, Turkish Airlines. It goes on. So so obviously well done to those airlines that are coming out quite high. Would they come out high, do you think, if they were comparing to some other sectors? I mean, there's going to be some e-commerce sectors, I guess, that are extremely good at this stuff because that is all they do. And obviously with an airline, you've got so much to do logistically to get those planes in the air. This side of things isn't necessarily the thing they focus on.
So on average, well, I think we worked out that the average score was around 48.5% for this sector.
Yeah.
Okay. If we compare that to insurance and law, which we've done more recently, their averages were around 39, 40, 43.
Okay.
So on one hand, you can say, right, okay, so they're quite in line. It may be a little bit further forward than other industries, but I would expect them to be, because airlines are heavily reliant on digital. Yeah. So, it's good, but even the top performers here, they're not really getting far over 75%.
Yeah. Where they are quite advanced, I think mobile apps is 100%.
Mobile apps.
But that's, again, that's understandable because everyone checks in on online now and probably using a mobile app. So all those airlines have invested in their apps. So their mobile offering should be quite good. But then I think if you go back to the problem of sites loading the speed of site loading, that's a real issue on mobile because people's expectations on mobile are even quicker.
An easy fix. Yeah. That's an easy fix, isn't it? Like I mean, in this day and age, should you really be having a site that takes like 20 seconds plus to load? No, really. Everyone's using mobile, so it should be working quickly. Yeah. It's kind of what we discussed at the beginning. Audiences are impatient. Yeah. What they did do well, that is, a lot of them were covered, like their audience levels were pretty good with paid media across multiple territories. And we don't set this out separately, but within website effectiveness, the majority of them do have multilingual options for their accessibility, which is obviously great because English isn't everybody's first language. And if they're operating globally, then that's helpful too. Yeah. And that could be the difference between conversions,
Yeah. And obviously these days it's easier to translate a site than it ever used to be because you have got AI as long as you can trust it to do it correctly. But you've got technology that does that for you. So we mentioned there's the 11 factors, and the report goes into each of those 11 in a separate section, and it makes a good case for arguing that all 11 are just as important as each other almost. So, and if I'm an airline and I'm struggling on this, I'm going to be thinking, God, do I have to focus on all 11? Can I possibly do that? Would an airline need to focus on all these 11 factors, or are there areas where they go, well, you know what, maybe email marketing isn't so important to me today and I can focus on social instead? Or if it feels like there's too much to do in one go, are there areas where you expect people to sort of focus? I
think the main thing that I would probably start out with is getting your house in order with your website so that it loads.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the fundamentals.
Yeah. The website speed and things like that. That absolutely should be working. Yeah. I think there's a lot of overlap. So in terms of content and SEO and social media, they all kind of fit together. I mean, if you're creating good content, you're going to optimize that for Google and Bing. Yeah, possibly. So I think that kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, your content should be the fuel behind everything anyway. Yeah.
So there's a feeling that actually airlines are grasping this, and the technologies are around, and as your report suggests, they're buying into it. What's your feeling of looking forward now from where we are today, from where this report sort of sets out where the industry is? Do you get a sense that we're in a period of rapid improvement because there's a focus on it? Do you think we'll see that in this year and going forward?
I don't know whether about this year specifically, because I think that it takes you're dealing with people. We have AI and all these amazing, brilliant tools, but ultimately we're still all humans, and it takes humans a while to kick in and do things. I do think that of all the sectors, this will probably be the one that does lead with a lot of innovation. I think that in terms of really personalised, seamless experiences, it's asking for it in the airline industry. And I think that will kind of just align itself to UX on sites and on your apps. Like I said, that mobile apps, they're all present. They know that that's what works. Yeah. I think the other thing that we've not touched on, but I think could be an opportunity, is more consideration about the planning phase of like holiday booking, flight booking, and things like that. There seems to be this really heavy emphasis on getting them booked, managing it.
The transaction.
Yeah, and I think that there could be a bit more about the kind of, when you're considering it, especially if you're trying to travel with multiple people and you want to share ideas.
I guess that's kind of where these guys in the airline industry, they cede ground to the OTAs.
Yeah,
who
true.
Really if they can't do that, they don't really have a business, because people will happily transact direct, won't they?
Sure.
So maybe they just accept we'll never be as good as the OTAs on that.
But for going like directly onto the site, and then there not being as much around that, I think that was kind of a bit missing. And I think AI is going to influence everything, isn't it?
I was going to pick up.
You can't have an interview and not talk about AI, really.
Okay, well, let's do that. But I was going to pick up on that because you mentioned it earlier, and it's not in here as a factor. Do you think if you did this in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time, one of the things you would test is are they using AI? Give it that important?
I imagine so. Yeah. I don't think I'd be bold enough to include it at the moment, which is why it's not in there. But I think that if you got to be using some level of AI, even whether it's your marketing or your operations and things like that. Airlines have to collate a lot of data on their customers, so there's a huge opportunity if they're not doing it already. They might be.
What do you think would be the best use? I mean, is it churning through the data to get insights that feeds into personalization potentially, or is it things like creating content?
I think a bit of all of that. I mean, I think most people probably know about creating content through AI now, or digital marketers should know. If they're not, then they're on the back foot. I think in terms of creating good customer experiences, it's tailored, it's unique, it's learning things about interactions, what are people responding to. It's doing split testing across your site and your other channels, and testing things like tone of voice. You can work out what works better for not just segments but literally individual people that are on your site, so that you can basically sell more stuff to them. Because this is the other thing that would seem to be a little bit shy on, if I'm completely honest. I expected a bit more of an aggressive cross-selling and upselling.
Merchandising, isn't it, really? It's,
like you go through it and it's like, and by the way, I wanted to go on like so many holidays after being involved with this campaign.
It's going to cost you a fortune, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But you'd go through the whole kind of motions of looking for stuff, booking, and seeing if you can add a voucher code and all of that. And I just think that there's quite a few of the airlines that could do more to have add-ons, to partner with other organisations like, I don't know, taxi firms or hotels or whatever. But you got a lot of, VIP lounges and stuff like that. But I just thought there could be more CTAs.
Beyond that.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because that's one of the things of the nature of this industry is, which makes it different from other maybe e-commerce sectors, is that as a customer, you know where you're going to go. You're not in the market to be sort of maybe sold on going somewhere else you haven't already got in mind. Yeah. So there's only really a set number of competitors on that route. There may only be one. Yeah. Sometimes, depends on where you want to go. So it's not like you're sort of, as a customer, you've not got the whole market in front of you. You've got a very small, maybe set number, 2 or 3 competitors. Yeah. So for these, they're going, well, why do we need to compete like another retailer where they're competing with any potential supplier of the goods or service? So it makes it different in airlines, I think, because of the nature of the industry. Yeah, that's true.
But that's also why it's really important that the experience on any of your digital infrastructure is premium.
Yeah. Look, time has already beaten us. We've done our time almost. I'll finish with one quick thought, one quick question is if you were to pick out a kind of an easy quick win for the airlines reading this report, we need to just do something now. Where do you think the quick wins are for many of these airlines who need to improve?
Quick win. Well, it's going to be different, isn't it, for each of them? Everyone should really be auditing. Get your deck, right? If you're in this report, request your results.
The details. Okay.
Yep, to get a full audit. If you haven't, whether you're going to come and speak to me about it or you want to do it somewhere else or whatever, audit your website and your digital ecosystem and find out what your quick wins are, because I can sit here and go, all right, we need to sort out email marketing, but that's not going to apply to everybody. So I think really the truth of it is you need to do a quick audit. Yeah, fine. Good advice. So anyone who wants to get the report, it's on your website, so they can download it from... Yeah, they'll be able to get it from remarkable.group. Yeah, and it's the Aviation Digital Maturity Report. It is. Right. Great. Hayley, thanks very much for that. I know you had a bit of a struggle coming down on the trains today. Airlines, not trains. So you should fly next time. Thanks for coming down and doing this. I appreciate it. Right, thank you. Cheers. Bye. We're delighted that our friends at Amadeus have agreed to be the launch sponsor for ABNcast. And while they do not endorse the opinions and views expressed, they are keen to support a new forum for open discussion and debate around the future of aviation. Amadeus's technology powers the global travel and tourism industry, inspiring more open ways of working, more connected ways of thinking, always with an eye on how the industry can evolve, on how the travel industry can better serve travellers, bring people together, explore new experiences, and do business. Travel should be meaningful and personal, and it must be centred around the traveller, which is why Amadeus is investing to create their technology to put more power into people's hands. As an industry, we only progress by working together, and Amadeus's open platform is connecting the entire global travel and hospitality ecosystem. Our environment, our communities, and our destinations matter. Together with our customers and industry partners, Amadeus is working to make travel a force for social and environmental good, and ABNcast will be placing a specific focus on these themes in future editions. To find out more, visit www.amadeus.com and make sure you subscribe to ABNcast, which you can do on Aviation Business News' YouTube channel or on Spotify, so you don't miss out on any future edition. And please tell your friends and colleagues all about us. Thanks very much.